Hi, this is Ken of Rist Innovations, and I'm really excited to share this video with you today. I believe I've come up with what I think is the ultimate push block design. So first I'm going to unveil two versions of the design, then I'll show you step by step how I actually made it, and then third, towards the end of the video, I'll explain how you can obtain some free plans as well as the possibility of purchasing some of the components if you're interested. First, let me mention that my design was inspired by watching two different videos on push blocks. One was from April Wilkerson, and in fact she was inspired by Jay Bates. So without further ado, let's take a look at the first version. This is the non-sacrificial version, so this one I would not run through the saw blade. So it has a very comfortable handle. Also, the handle is very high, so it's far away from the saw blade, which will protect my hand. The other thing is I've added this rubber grip on the bottom to give it better traction, and I've added this adjustable little tailstock here that can adjust for the different thicknesses of your workpieces. Now the beauty of this is that the core of this is made out of two pieces of 3/4 inch plywood that have been glued together. All the walnut you see here is a veneer that I applied, and this gives me options to use any kind of veneer I would like in the future. Okay, now let's take a look at the next version. This is the sacrificial version. So this one has some of the same features of the handle and also the distance away from the saw blade. It also has this adjustable little tailstock. But what's unique about this one is this has a sacrificial piece at the bottom. And why that's unusual is that I've attached it using this 3M fastener material that is super strong. It's used for industrial environments. So this is not Velcro. This is something that's far superior. So let me give you an example of how difficult it is to remove this from the actual push block. I'm using one of these little connector pieces that are used on the Festool track system. This happens to work well, so let me just show you. I just slip it down inside here to get a little bit of a grip, and this has a nice lever action, and I just gently pull towards me, and then it slowly pops away, and once it gets started, then I can just pull it away. This would be something that would be replaceable when it gets chewed up from the saw blade. Same thing with the little tailstock, could also be replaceable. So now let me show you how to install the sacrificial piece back on. I just lay it down on a flat surface, like my bench here, and line it up, and I just try to get it started here at the small end at the front, and if you heard that click, that means that it's started, but it still needs some work. So then it's a matter of just pushing down on it until you hear a click, and now it is fully engaged, and this thing will not come off. Later in the video you'll see how strong this bond is because I was able to lift up a 30-pound bucket. So now let's go into the step-by-step on how I made these.
So I can make my own push sticks? Tell me how, push stick man.
The first step is plywood preparation. I cut two pieces of 3/4 inch thick plywood and I glued and screwed them together. This little silicone glue roller does a great job of spreading the glue evenly. Originally, I was hoping just to use the screws that would be enough to hold the pieces tightly together, but they need some clamping pressure to ensure there wouldn't be any gaps between the pieces. Next, I laid out and cut the walnut veneer. I'm using contact cement to attach the veneer to the plywood. The key is to apply the glue to both the veneer and the plywood and wait about 15 to 20 minutes until the adhesive is just sticky. The two pieces immediately form a permanent bond, so you want to be sure everything is aligned before you touch the two pieces together. Next, it's over to the bandsaw to cut the rough shape out using an acrylic template. After that, it's over to the router table to trim the piece using a flush trim bit. Next, it's time to add the edge banding. The edge banding has a hot melt adhesive on the back, so you can use a clothes iron to heat the edge banding and then use a roller to apply pressure so that there is a good bond. I use a file to trim the excess edge banding from the push block body. It's time to drill the tailstock holes into the back of the push block. Next, we need to make these custom plastic threaded inserts. They are made out of a 1/2 inch diameter dowel ring, and they have a 1/4 20 threads on the inside, and on the outside they have grooves, so that when they are glued into the push block with epoxy, the grooves are filled with epoxy, ensuring a secure bond. It's important to use epoxy to glue in the inserts. I tried CA glue and it failed, so you want a secure bond because these inserts need to withstand the forces of you pushing the workpieces through the table saw. Now we need to drill a 1 inch diameter hole at 60 degrees or 30 degrees from the horizontal, so I'm using my shop smith for this step. To glue the handle, I use PVA glue and I orient the grain of the handle so it runs vertically, so this ensures the strongest result. Next, we need to rip some maple for the tailstock and the sacrificial heel. For the tailstock, I need to plane the maple down to a 1/2 inch thick. After cutting the tailstocks to length, it's time to mill the slot. Now, I have a Mr. Fancy Pants setup here with my track saw and router, but you could use your drill press and drill a series of holes and then use a file to clean up the slot. Now we are back at the router table to add roundovers to the tailstock. Next, my favorite part, sanding. After that, I apply 4 coats of shellac. The shellac dries quickly because it's alcohol-based and it leaves a nice finish. It's critical that the push block is finished with a shellac, acrylic paint, or polyurethane if you're going to use the 3M fasteners, because they need a good bond to the wood. Now, let's attach the 3M fasteners to the push block. I'm centering the 1 inch wide strip on the 1.5 inch wide piece of wood. Then I apply pressure using a roller. Then it's a matter of bringing the push block and the sacrificial wood piece together. For the non-sacrificial push block, I'm installing a 1/16 of an inch thick rubber strip. I'm applying CA glue to the rubber. Now the mistake I made was that I just realized that I forgot the rubber strip is 2 inches wide versus the push block is 1.5 inches wide. So I thought I was going to have a little bit of squeeze out, but I've actually set the block down into a pool of glue and it's oozing out the sides now, so it's panic time to clean up the CA glue before it ruins the push block. But thank goodness I was able to get the glue off in time and everything was okay. Next, it's time to put a coat of paste wax to make everything silky smooth. Lastly, it's time to attach the foam grip to the handle and attach the tailstock using the plastic hardware. Now here's the 3M fastener test I was talking about earlier. So I attached this sacrificial strip to the bottom of the push block using this 3M dual lock fastener material. And this stuff is really strong. It comes apart easily, however it really holds tightly. In fact, this is not your grandma's Velcro. Let me show you how strong this stuff is. I have the same length strip of that material that I have on the push block design. And this is about 30 pounds of calcium chloride used to melt snow in the driveway. So I'm going to swing this around in front of the camera to show you how strong this is. The entire weight will be held by the 3M fasteners. And there it is. Let's talk about the push block drawings and possible kits. I will offer free PDF drawings of the push block via my website link within the next couple of days as soon as I set it up. The link will be in the description when it's available. Also, I'm trying to gauge your interest in different push block kits that you might be interested in. Kit number 1 could be a full-size acrylic template to make it easy to make the push block using the bandsaw and a router table. Kit number 2 could be, in addition to the acrylic template, to also include the foam handle, plastic hardware, and either the 3M fastener material or the rubber strip, depending on which style you would want to make. Kit number 3 could be everything from Kit 2, and in addition, a tailstock and a finished sacrificial plate could be provided. Kit number 4 could be everything from Kit 3, and in addition, I could provide the walnut veneer as well as the 2-inch wide walnut edge banding. And finally, if there's an interest, I could sell a completely finished push block, either sacrificial or non-sacrificial, as possibly a limited edition of maybe one of 100 units. Each one would be numbered and signed, and potentially I would make different species of veneer each year. So it really depends on if you'd be interested in any of these ideas. So please let me know in the comments below and just mention which kit number or numbers you would be interested in. For serious inquiries, you can also email me directly at info@ristinnovations.com. And then just mention in the email which option or options you'd like to talk about further. Thank you for considering, because this will really help my channel. Next, let me tell you about my future videos. If you liked this video, you're going to love the next one. It's the ultimate featherboard hack, and when I have the link available, it will be here. In the meantime, if you want to see one of my most popular table saw videos, that link is here. Thanks for watching.